Good morning and welcome to the Carlin Law Firm. Today we're going to discuss a topic that is very popular, and it's kind of my least favorite topic to talk about, but we're going to talk about divorce law. Please keep in mind that the average lifespan of a marriage in the United States of America is about 8 years. Slightly over 50% of married couples eventually get a divorce. There are various type of divorces that you can get, and I'm going to talk about obviously from the perspective of Illinois law, Chicagoland area, and right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you that if you need any type of family law advice, feel free to call my office. The advice over the phone is always free. If you want to schedule an appointment, that will be a paid consultation. But any questions you want to ask me over the phone, within obviously limits of reasonableness, is you're welcome to call my office. So, divorce law. Divorces can be bucketed into certain categories. So there is obviously type of divorce where people have a very short-term marriage, they have no kids, no property, and they can literally walk in together to the courthouse at 50 West Washington in Chicago, go to the 8th floor and ask for all the necessary forms to fill out. They can fill them out. Usually there is some legal help at least once a week at Daily Center, and there is, I believe it used to be on Tuesdays. Don't quote me on that. You can always check with the 8th floor. You can simply ask for help to fill out those forms, and you can basically walk to a judge and you'll get a divorce. And usually people who are stranded for cash go for that option. Like I said, no kids, no property, short-term divorce. Uncontested divorces are the type of divorces when both parties agree to finally part their ways, and they're cooperating in dividing their property. So it also, uncontested divorce, it can also have no kids, no property, a duration of marriage doesn't really matter. Or it can be more complicated situation where you have a lot of property, where you have kids, minor children, and it all has to be sorted out. But you're in general agreement on how this is going to be sorted out. So that's when you need an attorney who's going to put it all together in a nicely written up package, and then you get to both parties get to review the documents, and if there's no changes or if there's small edits, the attorney will make the edits, and everything can then go to the court for a setup date where one party, the initiating party, or both parties appear for what it's called a prove-up. And with both parties' cooperation, that literally can take 4 to 6 weeks and you're divorced. There could also be the type of a divorce where you separated a while ago, and the spouse who wants to initiate the divorce has no idea where the party where his or her spouse resides. So this could be a divorce by publication. You made numerous attempts to contact that person. You contacted their family members, your mutual friends. You checked out the social media to find out where your spouse resides. And including all of that, you still can't find him or her. And a court usually will allow you to publish that divorce. It's a service by publication. You cannot deliver divorce papers to the person personally, but you can publish it in a local paper, and that will qualify as proper service, and then you will be granted a divorce. Except in those type of divorces, any division of property will be reserved. Any child support will be reserved for future proceedings. So you will just get a naked divorce. There's also a type of a divorce where you served the party. So you separated, you served the party, and the party refuses to show up to court. That's going to be divorce by default. which means that you will get the division of property, you will get your parental rights if there are children, minor children involved, and because the other party was properly served, they got the notice of the divorce, but they simply refused to show up to court. So that's called divorce by default. That also can span from 3 to 4 months, in some cases maybe up to 6, but it's also relatively a quick divorce. And of course, there are the contested divorces, the least desired divorces, where people just simply cannot agree on anything and they need to get lawyers involved. And then there is this contentious fight going on for months and sometimes years. I've been involved in divorces that were going on for multiple years. The parties finally divorced, but they can't still agree on anything that they initially agreed, or maybe there was a trial and the judge divided, however the judge wanted to divide stuff, and awarded parental responsibility according to the judge. Because remember, once you go to trial, you taking decision making out of your hands and putting it in your hands of a judge. So at that point, you're at the mercy of the court and you can't complain about it. You had all this time to agree, you had all this time to mediate, you had all this time to come up with the terms that are to your liking, and you couldn't. And that goes for both parties. I'm not blaming one party over another. Absolutely not. If you cannot agree on terms of your divorce, then the case is going to go to trial and the judge is going to determine your future. So, I actually know 2 cases like that. So just be mindful that you do not want to be on the receiving end of a very lengthy divorce, because we're talking about tens and thousands of dollars going into hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you need to spend that kind of money on lawyers, why just not divide that money amongst yourselves and go your separate ways? There's 2 also things I want to point out. Sometimes people separate. I had one time I had a case where parties separated 20 some years ago, but neither party filed for divorce. Please remember, whatever each party accumulates during the separation period is a fair game in a divorce. So the guy came to me after being separated from his wife for 20 some years, and I don't remember, I got involved in the case when the case was already pending, and I believe it was the wife who filed for divorce. Yes, I think it was the wife who finally filed for divorce. And she wanted everything he had, everything he accumulated while she wasn't present in his life for the 20 some years. And it was all fair game. So if you're separating from someone and you know you're not going to be getting back together, because you're not going to a therapy to put your marriage back together, there's no way of reconciliation, for crying out loud, file for divorce. Because if, let's say, you're separated for 10 years and you win a lottery, that lottery winnings are fair game for your spouse that you haven't seen in 10 years. So do not wait. You're only making the situation progressively worse for yourselves. Appeal to anyone and everyone who wants to have a contentious divorce. Don't do it. It will cost you a bundle. You will shorten your lifespan fighting over a dog, fighting over a plate, fighting over a timeshare. Don't do it. Just sit down. Figure out how you can fairly divide the stuff, even if you don't think your spouse deserves everything that has been accumulated. Maybe you worked more, you made more, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Also, divorces where one party makes a lot more money than the other party. Remember, the party who makes more money will be paying attorney's fees for the other party's attorney. So the other party doesn't care how long the divorce is going to go on because you're going to be paying their attorney's fees. So in those type of cases, do come to the table. I've had cases with huge earning discrepancy between the parties, and I always tell my clients, you got the short end of that stick in this case. You gotta make some concessions. You gotta come up with a number that the other party will like, because otherwise they will take you to the cleaners. Don't do it. Save yourself time, aggravation, and money. And I've helped straight couples, gay couples, straight couples with kids, gay couples with kids. I've participated in divorces where people were fighting over a dog or a cat or some other pet. Figure it out. Be adults in the room, even though emotions are flying high. The worst part of the divorce process is the very beginning. The shock when it comes, you file the petition, you made up your mind, you're gung-ho on this divorce, you file your petition, and then you are serving it on the other party. And the other party is still in denial that maybe this relationship can be put together. The process server comes to that person's residence and hands them those divorce papers. That is the worst part and moment of the divorce. This is when all the anger comes out. This is when you find out who you have been married to all this time, because it brings out the worst in people. And I know it's not a fun time, but please do yourself a favor. Take a deep breath. Take a few days to digest. You have 30 days to respond to service of process. Take a beat, take a step back, and start thinking, how can I get out of this situation safely with at least financial damage as possible? And let me tell you one thing. The phrase, I don't want a divorce, is not an excuse to stop a divorce from happening. You will just gonna be prolonging the inevitable. Threatening your spouse with, oh, I'll take your green card away, I will show you, I will leave you with nothing. Believe me, I've been there, I've done that, I've heard every threat under the sun against my clients. It doesn't work. I've been in cases when women would throw themselves down the stairs just to get a restraining order against their spouse. Stop the nonsense. Get a clean divorce. You'll be able to move on faster. You'll be able to restart your life faster. So this is a nutshell. I had a very short video on TikTok about divorces. I wasn't talking about any of the technicalities. Every person has a very specific, unique situation, especially when children are involved. Do not make your children pawns in the divorce. You're only harming your kids. That's another warning. Just for the sake of your kids, let's make it quick. Let's make it painless. And let's not give all your savings to the attorneys. Let's keep your money, give it to your spouse, give it to your kids, whatever. Just make a clean break, because that's all that it's about. Divorces can be ugly, but they don't have to be. Call my office, the Carlin Law Firm LLC, 773-661-9106. Mówimy po polsku. We do speak Polish in my office. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. The hardest thing is to make a decision. Yes, I want this divorce. Yes, I want to finalize it. Let's get it done. Thank you, and good luck to you.